I was 24 when it all started. Back then, life felt pretty normal. I was working full-time, living in a small apartment above my mom's garage, and helping out around the house since our dad passed away 2 years prior. My younger sister Lily had just turned 19, still living at home, in that awkward post-high school phase where you're either lost or pretending not to be. She was kind of both. Lily was the quiet one in our family. She didn't party, barely posted on social media, always had her head buried in books, or spent hours sketching in her room. Everyone thought she was this sweet, shy, straight-laced kid who'd never break a rule in her life, and maybe that's why what happened still doesn't feel real. It was a Thursday when she vanished. I came home from work and found Mom pacing the living room, phone in one hand, panic written all over her face. Lily hadn't come home the night before. Her phone was off. No messages, no calls. Her bed looked untouched. At first, we thought maybe she'd stayed at a friend's house. Maybe she forgot to text. Maybe her phone died. But by Friday morning, there was no maybe anymore. She was gone. We called her friends, checked every place she might have gone. Her sketch pad was missing, and a small overnight bag. But her wallet, her charger, her anxiety meds, all still in her room. We filed a missing persons report that. The weeks that followed were the longest of my life. I didn't sleep more than a couple hours a night. Mom was barely eating. The police kept saying she was probably a runaway, that maybe she just needed space. But I knew Lily. She wouldn't do this. Not without a word. She wasn't the kind of person to just disappear. We printed flyers, shared her photo online. Every few days we'd get a call from someone who thought they saw her at a gas station or walking near a park. But none of the leads panned out. After a month, they stopped looking, but we didn't. Mom kept her bedroom exactly the same. Every morning she'd open the blinds in Lily's room, just in case she came home today. I stopped correcting her after the first 2 weeks. Then one night, 6 months after she disappeared, I came home from work and Mom was screaming. She was standing in the driveway, barefoot, crying, and pointing at something behind me. I turned around, and there she was, Lily, standing at the edge of the woods behind our house, holding a duffel bag in one hand and a baby carrier in the other. And that's when everything went from confusing to terrifying. She looked different, not just older or tired, but haunted. Her hair was longer and messier than I'd ever seen it. Her clothes hung off her like she'd lost 20 pounds, and her eyes, those soft brown eyes that used to light up whenever she saw our dog, looked vacant, hollow. Mom sprinted to her like she was seeing a ghost. I stood frozen, too stunned to move. Lily just stood there, not even flinching when Mom wrapped her in a hug. She was stiff, barely reacted. Her eyes didn't leave mine the entire time. And then I noticed the baby. It was bundled in a faded blue blanket, barely moving, maybe a few weeks old at most. Lily shifted the carrier gently and stepped past Mom like she was walking in slow motion. She didn't say a word. Inside, Mom started asking a million questions all at once. Where she'd been, why she left, who the baby was. But Lily just sat down on the couch and stared at the wall. I knelt next to her and asked the one question I hadn't heard yet. Whose baby is that? She blinked slowly, then whispered, "Mine." That single word knocked the air out of my lungs. I kept repeating it in my head, trying to make it make sense. She was gone for 6 months. The baby looked maybe a month old. That would mean she was already pregnant and she left, almost 3 months along, and we had no idea. She had hidden it from all of us, and then disappeared. It took a while for her to open up, and even then, what she told us didn't make sense. She said she'd met someone online, that they got serious, and when she found out she was pregnant, she panicked, said she didn't want to disappoint us or ruin Mom's life, so she ran. She claimed she went to stay with the guy in another state, wouldn't say which one, and that he helped her through the pregnancy. But now she was back because he'd changed and wasn't safe anymore. That was all she'd say. It didn't sit right with me. The story had holes, big ones, like how she got across state lines with no car or money, or how she kept herself fed and healthy through a whole pregnancy, or why she'd trust a random stranger over her own family, and worst of all, she refused to name him, wouldn't give us his name, no phone number, no address, nothing. Mom begged her to go to the police. Lily flat out refused, said if we got the cops involved, he'll find us. That night, after she went to bed, I snuck into her room and looked at the baby. He was tiny, pale, too quiet, and there was something else that made my stomach twist into knots. His little arm had a faint yellowish bruise, and just like that I realized, Lily didn't come home to escape something. She came home running from something, or someone, and whoever that someone was, wasn't done with her. The next morning, Lily was sitting on the floor of her bedroom, rocking the baby in complete silence. No music, no toys, nothing but the sound of her breathing. She looked exhausted, like she hadn't really slept in days. I brought her some toast and asked if she just nodded but didn't take the plate. Mom had gone to work early, partly because she needed the distraction, partly because she didn't know how to handle any of this. I couldn't blame. Our missing daughter had just walked out of the woods like something out of a nightmare, holding a baby none of us knew existed, and we were just supposed to go back to normal? I sat with Lily for an hour, didn't say much, just watched her rock that baby with this robotic rhythm, like she was doing it because she had to, not because she wanted to. That's when I noticed her wrist. It had marks, faded ones, thin red lines, like she'd worn something tight for a long time. Restraints, maybe? A bracelet? I didn't know what to think. She caught me staring, pulled her sleeve down and looked away. I asked again, quietly, if she'd tell me where she was. Just me. No police. No mom. I promised I wouldn't tell anyone if she didn't want me to. She shook her head. Said something that's stuck in my brain ever since. He watches everything. I tried to press her. Who was he? Was she being followed? Was she in danger? But she shut down immediately, stopped talking, just sat there and stared out the window, rocking the baby faster and faster, until he started to cry. She looked startled, like she forgot he was even there. Later that afternoon, I did something I knew I probably shouldn't have. I went through the duffel bag. It was shoved under her bed, zipped up so tight I had to yank the corners to even get it open. Inside, I found exactly 4 things. A blood-stained towel, an unopened burner phone still in the plastic, a folded stack of $100 bills, and a driver's license. Only it wasn't hers. It belonged to a man named Caleb Morris, mid-30s, out-of-state address. He didn't look familiar at all. I took pictures of everything with my phone, put it all back, zipped it up, and didn't say a word, because in that moment I realized something terrifying. Lily didn't just run away. She might have been kidnapped, or worse, she might have escaped something far darker than she's ready to admit. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept going back to the name on the license, Caleb Morris. I searched online, but nothing obvious came up. No criminal records, no social media, no missing persons. It was like the guy barely existed. But something about that ID, crammed into the bottom of Lily's bag next to bloody fabric and a burner phone, told me he wasn't just some boyfriend. I didn't tell Mom. Not yet. She was walking on eggshells around Lily, pretending everything was fine, like she was afraid to scare her off again. But I could tell she felt it too. This weird tension, like something bad was still hovering out of sight. The baby made a sound. He was too quiet. He didn't cry much, didn't squirm, didn't even seem to focus his eyes properly. And Lily was disconnected, not cruel, not neglectful, just absent, like she was doing what she was supposed to, but her mind was always somewhere else. On the 3rd day after I caught her in whispering, she didn't know was standing. She was hunter, facing the trapped and repeating the same. I did what you said. I came back. I did what you said. I stepped forward and made a noise on purpose so she'd hear me. She jumped, slammed the phone on the counter, and tried to act normal, but her hands were shaking. I didn't say anything. She wouldn't look at me. Later that afternoon, I went back into her room while she was napping and took the burner phone. I plugged it in and waited. There were 2 numbers saved in it, one labeled him and one just a string of digits with no name, no texts, just call logs. Dozens of missed calls from him, all short, all recent, no voicemails, no detail. That wasn't the word. When I clicked on him and looked at the number, I recognized the area. It was local, like very local. I used a reverse lookup site, paid $5, and waited for the results. And when the name finally loaded, I felt like the floor dropped out beneath me, because I knew him. We all did. He was someone I saw nearly every week. Someone Lily knew growing up. Someone close. Someone trusted. And there was no way in hell this was a coincidence. When the name popped up on my screen, my stomach flipped. It wasn't some random stranger. It was Mr. Carver, our old neighbor, the guy who used to mow our lawn for free after Dad died, who always waved when we drove by. Mid-40s, quiet, friendly, the type everyone described as safe. The number on Lily's phone was his. I sat there staring at it, feeling like the house had shrunk around me. All the late nights Lily went for walks, the random deliveries he'd bring over, the way he'd show up at our family cookouts. Suddenly, it all felt wrong. I couldn't tell Mom yet. She adored him, thought of him like a big brother. If I blurted this out without proof, she'd think I was losing it. That night, Lily slipped out of the house after midnight carrying the baby. She didn't even put on shoes. I followed her from a distance, heart pounding, until she stopped at the edge of the woods. The same spot where she'd appeared days earlier. She stood there, rocking Noah, whispering something I couldn't make out. Then headlights flickered through the trees. A car idled just far enough back that I couldn't see who was inside. Lily froze, then turned around and walked quickly back to the house without saying a word. When I checked the window 15 minutes later, she was sitting on her bed, staring at her phone, tears running down her face. It was clear. She wasn't done with him, and he wasn't done with her. The next morning, Lily acted like nothing happened. She made coffee, hummed softly, and even kissed Noah's forehead like she'd been doing it, but her eyes were swollen from crying. I decided to test something. While she was in the shower, I took the burner phone and powered it off. When she came out, hair wet, she immediately started tearing through her bag looking for it. She didn't even notice me watching. When I handed it back, she snatched it and held it to her chest like it was oxygen. That's when I realized this phone wasn't just a lifeline. It was a leash. Around noon, I saw a black pickup truck parked 2 houses down, engine running. I'd seen that truck before. It was Mr. Carver's. He wasn't even trying to hide. I took a photo from our porch. The minute my camera clicked, the truck rolled off slowly, like it had been waiting. Later that day, I told Mom I needed to go pick up groceries, and instead drove straight to the police station. I showed them the photo of the truck, the ID from Lily's bag, even the number on the burner phone. The officer at the desk nodded politely, took notes, and basically brushed me off. Said without Lily's statement or proof of a crime, there wasn't much they could do. I left shaking, furious. When I got home, Lily was sitting in the living room, pale as a ghost, gripping Noah tighter than ever. She looked up at me and whispered, "He knows." I asked, "Knows what?" She just stared. Then the burner phone buzzed on the coffee table. She flinched so hard she almost dropped it, and in that moment I understood. Whatever hold Mr. Carver had on her, it wasn't over a fling or a mistake. It was fear, real fear. That night I slept on the couch with one eye open. The house felt different, quiet but tense, like it was waiting for something to happen. Around 2 a.m., I heard the burner phone buzz again. Lily didn't answer it. She just sat on her bed staring at the screen until it went dark. I decided then I wasn't going to wait for him. I started gathering everything. Screenshots of the call log, the photo of the truck, the ID from her bag, even the bruise on Noah's arm. I saved it all to a hidden cloud folder. If anything happened, someone would know. The next morning, Mr. Carver's truck was parked even closer, right at the corner of our driveway, engine off, windows tinted. He didn't get out, just sat there, watching. Mom finally noticed. I saw the confusion on her face when she peeked through the blinds. She asked Lily if she wanted her to call the police. Lily froze, then shook her head violently. "No," she whispered. "He said it's worse if you call." Her hands were trembling as she held the baby. Mom looked at me like she'd just realized I'd been telling the truth the whole time. I could see the panic rising in her, too. That afternoon, I got a call from an unknown number. A man's voice, calm, almost friendly, said, "Stop digging. She's mine. You don't know what you're stepping into." And then he hung up. My blood went cold. I didn't tell Mom about the call. I just told her to pack a bag for Lily and Noah. We were leaving that night. But when I went to Lily's room at sunset, the door was wide open, and the crib was empty. Lily and the baby were gone. Her shoes were still by the bed, diaper bag untouched. No note, no sound. It was like she vanished into thin air all over again. Except this time, the front door was locked from the inside. Mom started screaming her name, running through the house, checking closets, the basement, even under the porch like Lily was playing hide-and-seek. I knew better. She didn't run. She was taken. I ran outside, heart slamming, and there it was. Tire tracks in the damp grass, fresh, leading from the side yard toward the trees. Same direction she came from when she first showed up. That truck had been watching for days. He was just waiting for his moment. I called the cops again, told them my sister and her newborn were missing, and I believed she was taken by a man named Caleb Morris, or Mr. Carver. I gave them everything, the photos, the ID, the logs, even the voice recording I had of that threatening call. They finally took me seriously, but by then it was too late. 30 minutes later, they found Mr. Carver's house. It was abandoned, furniture gone, clothes gone, garage empty, his phone disconnected. But in the back of the closet in one room, what must have been Lily's, they found drawings, pages and pages, charcoal sketches of a crying baby, of a woman with no mouth, of a man's shadow with hands like claws. Every wall in that room had scratch marks on it. She'd been there, trapped, and now she was gone again. The house was a nightmare. The cops wouldn't let Mom go inside, but I convinced one officer to show me a few photos from the scene. The walls were covered in carvings, desperate words like help, no way out, and worst of all, he promised. One wall had a tally scratched into the drywall, 6 straight lines over and over. Weeks? Months? I didn't know. They also found a hidden crawl space behind the closet. Inside, a mattress on the floor, restraints bolted to the wall, and torn pieces of a baby blanket. I recognized the pattern. It matched Noah's. Whatever had happened in that room, Lily didn't just escape. She survived it. But the question no one could answer was, why go back? Why would she leave, just to return to the one person she clearly feared, unless she never really left on her? The theory came from a detective a few days later. Quiet guy, older, serious. He said this felt familiar. Said men like Carver groom their victims young, isolate them, and convince them they're the only person who will ever love them. He believed Lily didn't run the first time. She was lured, and this time, she might have been coerced back. But there was a detail no one had mentioned yet. One of the baby's hospital bands had been found in the crawlspace, but Noah was born weeks after she came home, which meant one horrifying thing. She gave birth in that house, in that room, with him, and now she was back there again. Or worse, she never left as far as he was concerned. The search went on for 3 days. Amber Alert, roadblocks, even drones combing the woods. The whole county was talking about it, but no sign of Lily, Noah, or Carver. It felt like they had vanished off the map again. On the 4th day, just after dawn, my phone buzzed. Unknown number. It was a text. No words, just a photo. Lily sitting in a diner booth, Noah in her arms. She was looking straight at the camera. Her eyes were swollen, but clear. Behind her, out of focus, a man's hand on the table. Carver's ring was visible. Underneath the picture, one sentence. "We're leaving. Don't follow. We'll be safe." I called the number. It rang once, then went dead. When the police traced it, it was already disconnected. That was 6 months ago. There's been no arrest, no more texts. Carver's bank accounts were drained. His truck found torched 2 counties away. It's like he built an exit plan for years, and then walked off the grid with her. But sometimes, at night, my phone buzzes from a blocked number. No message, just silence, like someone checking I'm still there. Mom still keeps Lily's room ready, Noah's crib, untouched, the sketches stacked in a box under the bed. She swears one day they'll come back on their own. I don't know what to believe anymore. I don't know if Lily thinks she's protecting us, or if she's still trapped. I don't know if Noah is even okay. All I know is the girl who walked out of those woods with a baby wasn't my shy little sister anymore. She was somebody else, somebody who had survived something we'll probably never fully understand. And I'm still here, phone in hand every night, waiting for a text that says she's free. But deep down, I'm terrified the next time my phone buzzes it won't be her. It'll be him. And this time, he won't be warning me to stop. He'll be coming for me.